talkSPORT's Predict 6 is back for the new Premier League season, where each week you have the chance to bag yourself £50,000 for absolutely free. All you have to do is make 6 selections at talksport.com/predict6, that's the number 6, by Saturday the 22nd of August at 3 p.m, and you're in with a chance of bagging that massive jackpot. That's talksport.com/predict6, the number 6, right now. Good luck. Hello and welcome to Inside Devils. I am Angelina Kelly and I am happy to say we've got a full house. We have got a full house. We have got Flex down the line, but normally you're in, so we're not going to give you too much stick. We've got Ryan, the stat man, here, looking very good in his denim shirt. And yes, believe it or not, the Wanderer has returned. Alex Crook, he's not just here, but he's in the studio.
Wow.
Without your hat, though. Without your cowboy hat. What are you playing at?
Yeah, I did put it back on for Sports Bar earlier this week at the request of the producer, but it's mainly been retired.
Okay. If United get to a cup final, I know that you'll probably be working it, but bring the hat for celebration afterwards, maybe?
Yeah, okay, good shout.
There you go.
Could be the lucky hat.
It could be the lucky. I mean, it wasn't lucky for England. But anyway, I digress. Let's get straight into Manchester United, because there was a game, there was a friendly, and I don't like to read too much into friendlies, but it was a big one. Ruben Amorim's Milan side. We wanted revenge over Amorim. Didn't quite go to plan. Flex, what was your take on the situation? Should we be concerned by this? Were you upset about it? Did it affect you at all?
Well, it severely affected me because I was there.
Yeah, I thought.
And it was the only game I'd done a pre-season. And I did say that I'm going to be irrational about this. I want revenge. I know it's only a pre-season friendly, but I do care if we lose. So I'm going to be petty in Poland. That was my package. That was what I was discussing on content. That was what I told my viewers we were going to do. We were going to Poland to be petty. So I was in the stadium watching it all transpire, and it was a bit of a humbling. And to be honest with you, I regret it. It turned from petty in Poland to poor in Poland, pathetic in Poland. It was really, really bad. However, it is pre-season. I know people will say that's rich coming from you. You wanted to go there to hate on Amorim. I did. I wanted to give him a bit of pain and suffering, but
and that's okay. It's a good job Crook didn't go, flipping it.
Oh, he wouldn't have got let in. They would have revoked his accreditation as soon as they saw his name.
Crook, did it bother you?
Yeah, massively.
Do you say Amorim's name yet? Or
No.
Okay.
No, that won't change. And if there's one fixture you don't want to lose, it's this one. To give that man his first win as Milan manager is, far from ideal. And actually, I was quite encouraged with the couple of pre-season games I watched before that. I was on holiday in Portugal, found a bar showing the PSG game, watched the Leeds game on my balcony, and I thought there were lots of positive signs, but a lot of that was washed away at the weekend. And it's ironic because obviously we played a lot of kids during pre-season. The senior players come back into the team and we produce arguably our worst performance.
I know, just don't lose that one.
Yeah.
And it's just that's just the one. I know it's pre-season and there's peaks and troughs and you can read into some things, not other things. Just not that one. Don't lose that one. And the manner in which we lost it as well. We were spanked. So, I think it got to all of us, to be honest, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, Flex, you were out there. I wanted to say, give you your credit where it's due. You got a really good answer out of Harry Maguire, didn't you, in the mix zone after the game, because he was talking about wanting to play higher up the pitch. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because it's great and I love that ambition, but does this defence have the pace to play a high line?
Well, with Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez, you would say no. If you want to play on the front foot and you want to play a high line and keep opposition teams camped in, you're not going to be able to rely on recovery pace, of course, from Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire. So from that essence, no. But from a team perspective of everybody doing it as a unit to cover spaces so there isn't big distances, it is refreshing to hear. And like Crookie said, it's losing against Amorim. If we would have lost against anybody else, it wouldn't have felt like this. But it shouldn't actually undo the decent preseason we've had, because we have had a good preseason. The results have been mixed: 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. But if you actually look at the performances, we were very good against Rosenborg, very good against Atletico, very good against PSG, and very good against Leeds, especially in the first half. But this game just feels like it's undone all of that. But in essence, it hasn't. When I spoke to Harry Maguire afterwards, he did say a variation of things, and one of them was that they want to play on the front foot, they want to go after teams, they want to dominate the ball. But he was also very honest about that was their worst performance of pre-season, but they'll be ready for Hull. They are ready for Hull. There's a few things to work on, but there's a good vibe in the camp. There's been some clips on social media of the guys playing cards in the hotel, and there's a good vibe. And I brought that to him, but he said, yeah, there's a good vibe, but if we're not winning football matches and once the season starts, it kind of goes all out the window. So it's not just all smoke and mirrors and laughs and hugs. We're here to win football matches, and we're really committed to do that. But they do want to play on the front foot. I have seen there's been a different instruction to keep the ball better in pre-season, but it's whether we bring that into the season. It's all good seeing it then, which is refreshing. But against Hull, first game away, it's not going to be easy.
I mean, a few of those Milan goals came down United's left-hand side. Does this make you feel, Crook, watching that game? And I know we don't want to take away from the good moments during pre-season, but did that make it obvious that left-back really still is an issue? And as much as we're all still waiting for another midfielder potentially, which probably isn't going to happen, I'm sure you can tell us more on that, but that defensively, United could struggle this season.
I think left back is the priority. The club realised that.
Right, so who are we signing? What's going on?
Well, obviously Harry and Mass has had minutes in pre-season, but the vibe coming out of Old Trafford is still they would cash in on him. So he's not going to be part of the first team this season. Luke Shaw, with the greatest will in the world, is not going to play every minute of every game, particularly when you factor in the Champions League. So they need someone in there. Lewis Hall is the top target. My understanding remains that he would be very open to that move to Old Trafford, but it feels like we've left it too late because Newcastle don't need to sell, having sold Tonali and Gordon and Guimaraes
the bolt in that
for
exit
big money.
door, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they want to make a point here that actually some players are off limits. We aren't a selling club, and Lewis Hall is going to stay even if he wants out. So I don't see that one happening. There's talk of Rahm, the left back at RB Leipzig, who's got a release clause. I was quite impressed with him at the World Cup. I expected him to join Bayern Munich. That hasn't happened, so one to keep an eye on. But it's not ideal going into the season with really only one senior left back, because you look at Patrick Dorgu, his better games came higher up the pitch, so I don't really think you can utilise him as a backup option. Then maybe Lisandro Martinez could do it, but yeah, they need a proper recognised left back, and that's got to be the priority between now and September the 1st. And
can we all just admit that we're not stressing about the Galatasaray news that there was an attempt for a late steal for Bruno Fernandes? We're not worried. Crook, do we need to be concerned about this?
This feels like agent talk to me, because he's in negotiations about a new contract. Bruno Fernandes, there's various reports that he's rejected the club's first offer.
With Rashford coming back and the money that he's on, if you're Bruno Fernandes, I know that he earns a decent amount anyway, but surely you're looking at it thinking, you know what, if he's earning that much, my agent needs to get to work.
Well, that's probably one of the reasons they're still desperate to get rid of Rashford. I still think if someone came in for him, then they would sell, but they're almost reluctantly admitting now that isn't going to happen because of the wages. So you're right, I think Bruno Fernandes would at least want parity. I think he's probably got a case to be the club's top earner. What we do know is the 57 million release clause that was available for overseas clubs has now expired, so United in a relatively strong position there, and I still think Bruno Fernandes will commit his long-term future.
Flex, you weren't stressed, were you?
No, I couldn't see that happening. I mean, he didn't want to quadruple his money to go to Saudi. I don't see him wanting to double his money to go to Turkey. With the greatest respect to the Turkish Super League, which are doing really well, ask Mo Salah and players like that. So there's a lot of money there. But Bruno's proved many times and said many times and shown us many times that it's not about money for him. He just loves Man United. That's it.
Yeah.
He just wants to stay here. He could have gone to Saudi twice before now if it was about money. So
he was coach last summer though, Flex. It was Mrs. Fernandes who put the kibosh on that deal.
This is what I mean. Don't underestimate the missuses, because this is why I was talking to Mrs. Casemiro, but we couldn't get through to her.
Oh, he was trying. Flex was sending letters, weren't you?
Well, I'm glad she wasn't listening. Did you see Casemiro at the World Cup?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It was good second half against Japan. I'll give him that.
He scored an own goal as well on his debut, I think, maybe, for Inter Miami. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
well, you know what? It had to come to an end. Now, before Alex, Crook and Flex sail off into the sunset, I wanted to talk about Wayne Rooney, who's been expressing his desire for a physical central midfielder to join the club. Ryan, when you hear that, are you worried that Carrick is maybe being let down by recruitment? And Crook, we'll get onto what info you've got on that as well.
Yeah, I think he has been. No doubt about it. If you're going to make signings in a window, you want to do it nice and early. You know, you want to get your first targets. You want to be concise, and boom, you do it. But on Thursday, there'll be 2 weeks left. On Thursday, there'll be 2 weeks left. It's been left too late. We're here now, and I don't think there's any two ways about that. So from that perspective, yes, he's definitely been let down. Now, hindsight's going to be a hell of a thing if in 2 weeks' time we've signed a midfielder and we've signed a left back. Let's hope that's the case. But almost certainly he's been let down. I came in for a bit of stick saying that I think that a defensive-minded midfielder, which obviously physicality comes into that, definitely should be one of the priorities. But I also... before the transfer window was open, I'm saying defence. I don't think our back four is good enough. Wasn't there a stat that 4 years ago it was the exact same back four that we're playing? Last season, if you look at the table, we scored 69 goals, but we conceded 50 goals. That's only one less than Forest. That's only one less than Palace. Our defence isn't good enough. So, yes, you can look at the priority, and we're in a place now where we have to prioritise. Well, if we're going to sign someone, it has to be a midfielder, and it has to be a left back. I think it's been a bit of a letdown of a window because that back four, the centre backs in particular, in my opinion, are not good enough. They're not good enough. So if I look at this transfer window in isolation, I say at this point with 2 weeks to go, yeah, I think he has been let down. That's coming from the heart, but that is genuinely how I feel.
I've got 2 points to make on this. It's not a coincidence that Wayne Rooney has come out and said this, because who's Michael Carrick's best mate? It's Wayne Rooney.
Yeah,
they go on holiday together.
Yeah.
So he is clearly echoing
he's the
what Michael Carrick will be saying to him
I'm liking this.
privately.
Yeah.
And my second point is, this is classic Glazer tactic.
Yeah.
They spend money to get in the Champions League, and then when we get in the Champions League, they rein it in. Coventry have spent more money in this transfer window than Manchester United. I'm sure Hull City have as well. Their owner is doing his best basically to build a whole new squad. So it has been an underwhelming transfer window. I guess we have to give them the benefit of the doubt because there's still 2 weeks to go.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Michael Carrick would have wanted those bodies in the building already. And you're right, the fact we're going into this season, a season when maybe there's an opportunity to challenge for runners-up status. I think Arsenal are going to win the league by a country mile. But all those other clubs have had a change of manager. We've obviously had Carrick in their best points tally in the second half of the season. There is an opportunity to kick on, and it feels like a missed opportunity at this moment
as
in time.
things stand, this could be Manchester United's midfield, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Technically. And my question is...
I think Santos has done well. And Tillemans and Bruno seem to be striking up a good understanding. So I've got no problem with those two signings, but we needed more. My
question would be, to all of you, maybe to you specifically as well, Crook, could United, bear with me on this one, still sign Carlos Baleba? Because I know that he's got an ankle ligament injury and there was a bit of a dip in form. He, Love Island, quote unquote, got his head turned by Man United, etc. But in terms of what he's missing in United's midfield, does he still technically tick all of the boxes? Because Adam Wharton, I don't know if he quite brings everything. I don't think that if they wanted Wharton, I don't think they'd have got Tielemans. Tchouameni, it would be great. I'm sure we'd all love a Tchouameni. But, Crook, could it still happen? What would he cost?
Well, that's a great question because obviously...
Because his stock will have dipped a little bit.
Yeah, and Newcastle have been linked with him, and journalists up there are saying that they could now get him for 60 to 65 million. I still think Tony Bloom would drive a harder bargain than that. And actually, having watched him a lot last season, I obviously cover Brighton on a regular basis, I'd be concerned about that form and the fact he's picked up another injury. Yeah, I'm not sure he is the answer. Tchouameni, as you've mentioned, there were noises coming out of Spain last night. Maybe that deal could be resurrected. They've been offered Camavinga, as of a number of top
Flex, you're not having
clubs.
Camavinga, are you?
Kone's the other option as well.
I don't mind it. I like him. It's just the injuries. It's just the injuries.
Would you have Baleba?
With Camavinga? Absolutely. I've wanted Baleba the whole time. Even during the season when everyone was saying he's having a poor season. Oh, look, he got his head turned by Man United and now he can't cope with the pressure. Now he can't play for us. This is a 22-year-old kid. He's had 3 seasons at Brighton. He's had 2 good ones and one that looked like it did last year, and he still did okay. Okay, it wasn't as good as the 2 seasons before, but there's a reason why we got belief in Andre Santos after 27 Premier League games, and he's 22, and we're saying he's got a high ceiling, he's got this, he's got that. Yeah. Baleba's done more in the Premier League than Andre Santos.
But Santos was 50 million. I still think you're looking at least 75 for Baleba.
Yeah, and the reason why you're probably looking at that is because he has had 2 good seasons, and he's had 1 stellar season. Santos has not had anything stellar, and I like Santos. I think he's actually done well, but if you're talking about Tony Bloom, talking about Brighton, and you're talking about what the players actually done versus what we think they might, factually, he's done more in the Premier League to a higher standard than Andre Santos has all day long. So that's maybe why that will look that way. But I would still buy him if the injury's not as bad as it looks, etc. I would still buy him. But back to what you guys were talking about, 100%. He's been failed, Michael Carrick. He has at this stage anyway, because there's no way Ineos envisages this transfer window looking like this. Started off really well with 2 quick players through the door, and it's been stagnant since. And now we're talking about potentially still trying to get Miles Lewis-Skelly out of Arsenal. Never going to happen. Move on.
Well,
Trying to
Arteta's
get
playing
Lewis
him now,
Hall.
isn't he?
Exactly. It's never going to happen.
He would be perfect though, wouldn't he? I mean, I was at Cardiff at the weekend. Bruno Guimaraes was brilliant, but alongside him, Miles Lewis-Skelly, probably my man of the match, and he can play in midfield. He can play at left back. I still think if United put 60 million on the table, Arsenal would have a decision to make. They've got to sell somebody, because you look at the players they left out of the squad, and obviously if they were to sell Lewis-Skelly, it goes down on the books as 100% profit. He was definitely being touted, maybe not by Arsenal, but certainly by people close to Lewis-Skelly, to Chelsea and United. So I wouldn't completely close the door on that one, Flex.
Wow.
Yeah, I see. I just, I'm there. If there's something that happens that we didn't realise and we managed to get him, that'll be a fantastic signing. I just can't see it, Crookie. But I hope you're right. You're right.
Well, the Crookmeister is just behind me now. He's just getting ready to go because, as always, he's booked and busy. He's got places to be. He's got people to call. He's going to see what's going on with Lewis-Skelly. Are we on to something with Baleba? He's booked and busy, isn't he? And you know what? Who are we to stop him? But talking about the pre-season, and obviously, Flex, you were there. You were there being petty in Poland, well, trying to be. From you and I know it didn't work, but you were there. You were ready to get petty, and I appreciate that. Your winner and loser of the pre-season, Flex.
Oh, of the whole pre-season, that's a good question. I think there's quite a few winners. I feel like Mbeumo actually had a really good. Yeah, well, Mbeumo had a really good pre-season, I would say, because he was struggling towards the back end of last season, kind of struggling since Michael Carrick got in, really. But especially towards the back end, and people started to go, "Oh, come on, Mbeumo, what's this? Very wasteful." He played quite well. He played very well. I would say Santos 100%, Ange, as a new signing. I wasn't sure on him when we first got him. I didn't hide it. But at the time we got him, we were also getting Ederson. It didn't make any sense. But when Yuri Tillemans quickly came, I understood why we got him. And I've been very impressed with him. And I know Tillemans has had a few cameos, but I'd also say he's done well and shown some as well. So I'd probably say Santos as the main standout. The loser it's Mason Mount.
Yeah.
It's Mason Mount again, because he actually started playing very, very well. He comes off the pitch against Leeds, I think it is, as a precaution. And then he misses the next couple of games again, and now he's not in the squad again, training today. And it's like,
this is what I'm saying, Flex. We had the conversation last week about Matt.
Absolutely.
And for all, I like him as a person, and as a player, when he's at it, he's great, and when he's fit, he's great. But the problem is, we have too many. When he's good, he's good. Yeah. When he's fit, he's good. We have too many of them. It's the same with Rashford, which I was saying last week as well, is we made him our star for so long, and we saw inconsistency as a result with our results with Manchester United as a whole, because he's an inconsistent player, and for different reasons. It's hard to hang your hat on Mount and Rashford and players like this. So it's a shame about Mount, but that's almost inevitable at this point, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah, I think for me, I agree. I think Santos is probably the winner. I think when it comes to the loser, I'm looking at Benjamin Šeško, because he's still missing through injury, and I'll be honest, it's a bit of a concern. And it's not that I haven't backed the player, but I just think it's really tricky, because United, as we've been discussing, need to invest in other areas. We'd like a centre-back, we'd like a left-back, we'd like another midfielder. But a spare striker would have been nice, and I always go back to the Danny Welbeck situation, but I think that he was right there. I think that he would have been a great option, and ultimately it's looking now like Mbeumo, Rashford may have to play up front. We don't know what's going on with Joshua Zirkzee. Is he going to leave? Is he going to be good enough? Yeah. I'm not too sure. Šeško was returned to training today, but looking at the pre-season, I was expecting us to be in a position where we're like, yeah, this is our striker. Yeah, he's looking good. He's looking sharp. And I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit concerned. So,
Yeah.
they should have got Danny
We
Welbeck.
don't have our striker's not fit.
Yeah.
Our striker is not fit to start the season, and he's been out since the Liverpool game. That was ages ago. You would have thought he's not going to the World Cup. He'll have a whole summer off, a whole summer to get himself fit and ready. And listen, he hasn't asked to be injured. There's obviously been a complication with the shin injury so it's a shame for him. But to have not played a minute of pre-season, he's going to have his pre-season during these first few games of the season in the Premier League, which is not easy, which is not ideal. So we do have to start with Mbeumo up front. I'm almost certain he will start up front. I'm almost certain Ahmad will start on the right. And I'm almost certain that Dorgu will start on the left. He'll go for continuity. I think it will be Santos and Tielemans in midfield and Bruno in the 10 as well. So it's not ideal. He's our number 9 and we want to get him going, and we're still kind of waiting for that.
But it's the situation that happens every single time that when Man United have a striker, they're kind of left to their own devices, that it's not very often that they have somebody to be able to support them, to be able to fill in those gaps. Yes, I know that there are certain players that can slot into that position, but regarding another striker, it would have been nice. But again, you're not going to get everything. And like Crook touched upon, when it comes to Champions League football, we do see the owners reining in a little bit. So it is a frustrating one. And I guess we'll have to see what happens with Marcus Rashford. But if he does stay at Manchester United, could this be an option for him?
Yeah, it has to be an option. I think, fortunately, it is a shame about Šeško. Fortunately, we do score goals. We've got options, and it's quite fluid, our front line. Ahmad can come in, and there's various options there, and Mbeumo will probably start up front. And like Flex said, he's looked sharp. But this is why, going back to your question, Ange, about 10, 15 minutes ago about whether he's been let down. Yeah, he's been majorly let down, because now we're looking at it with 2 weeks to go and going, right then, what signings do we prioritise?
Yeah.
How are Manchester United here?
We shouldn't be prioritising.
We shouldn't be. We shouldn't
No
be.
way.
Right. You know what? We have to prioritise a midfielder. And if we can get a left back, no, we should have got that backup striker. We should have wheeled and dealed. And like you say, we should have been in for Welbeck or someone of that calibre, and an extra midfielder and a centre back and a left back. And now we're in this place where let's discuss the two positions that we need the most. It's such a shame that we're here. And when you look at the depth, and I know we had this conversation last week, when you look at the depth of what's coming off the bench, I'm not entirely convinced that they can fire on all fronts across 4 competitions. And that's not me being negative. That's just me saying how I see it. You know me, guys. I'll get positive when the season starts. I'll back the boys.
Yeah.
But as of right now, that's my observation. And in my opinion, it's hard to argue with 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, and I guess to balance it, there are other big teams that have still not completed their transfer business. It's looking like Manchester City are going to need to replace Rodri. Liverpool still, you can argue might need more defenders. What's happening with a Salah replacement? Arsenal still want a defender, an attacker. Obviously didn't get Vinicius Jr. Spurs look light in attack. Where is the De Zerbi Bomber signing? I don't know what's going on there. He's banging on about that for about 3 weeks and, still nothing. So, I guess maybe trying to add balance. But do you guys even get excited at going into the Champions League? I mean, it's the first time that we're going to be in the league phase. I think that gives you a little bit more wiggle room. But not that I'm not happy to be in the Champions League, but I'm looking at it, Flex, kind of like, yeah, it's great, we're back in it, but are we actually going to challenge and have a good run? Because what's the point if it's going to be an absolute washout?
Yeah, I was talking about this the other day, and it's almost like, if we're being honest, I won't speak for all of you, but you let me know if you agree. We had our sort of time in the sun, right, where we're winning every week with Michael Carrick, and
it was
got used to just losing 2 out of 14 or something like that, whatever it was. Just felt like we'd win every single game, even if the performance wasn't great. And then it's sort of like, right, that's in the past now, and now I can just feel pressure, like from the rival saying, okay, you've had your time, go and get your signings. You're in all the big competitions now. You've given Michael Carrick the job. Let's see what you're really about. And it's not until these sorts of times now where I'm like, oh, Holloway, first game of the season, newly promoted side. Oh, Champions League. So wait, hold on a minute. We've never been in it in this format. Got to finish in the top 8. Want to make sure that we're not embarrassing ourselves. Can we just make sure we get in that top 24? But I don't want to be in that, because then you got to play the extra games to be able to get through to the knockouts. And it's like, are we ready for that? Are we going to take, you get 2 of the big ones, home and away. So out of Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid, Atletico, I think Inter Milan take out the English team. We're going to get 2 of them guaranteed from pot 1.
Nice
And you're
inside
like,
Devils away day, but
yeah, you'd be great. And I really want Real Madrid at the Bernabeu for the trek, you know, or PSG away, or you know, something like that.
Yeah,
but I'm like, but do we? but
do we really?
Do we want that? And it's like, do we want to be embarrassed? So to answer your question, Ange, I'm excited and happy that, you know, I feel like a kid again. I feel like I've forgotten what it's like to be in the Champions League. But 100%, when you look at what's going on, are we ready?
I think we should be excited. I think we should be excited because it's the Champions League, like you say.
Yeah, we love it.
That's going to be amazing. And it's where Manchester United should be, lest we forget. So that it of course is going to be an excitement in there, but we can't forget. And again, this comes to backing Carrick. This is the first time Carrick's experiencing all of this from the dugout as well. He's feeling through 4 competitions, firing on all fronts in the dugout for Manchester United. He needs to be backed. He needs to be supported. I quite like the theory that Crookie had there about Rooney.
Oh, I love that Rooney's like on the phone to him, like, right, I'm going to do this interview. What do you want me to say? Right, I'll mention exactly that. I'll slide that in. If that is true, I'm living for it.
But it did feel like a bit of a rallying cry from Rooney. It did feel like that, where he's like, well, we'll get more signings through the door.
Carrick said it himself. He said he wants more players.
Exactly.
Rooney would not be saying something that he thought Michael Carrick would get upset about. Put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. So look, he's feeling it out too, and this is where squad depth comes into it, and having more quality comes into it. So let's hope, Ange, that in 2 weeks' time we're reviewing everything, and we go, there we go, we got the left back and we got the midfielder, and it's horrible because I don't want to contradict myself. We do need names through the door, but let's just not sign people for signing them's sake as well. That would be a mistake because we've got into this place where it's hard to offload players for years and years and years because of the salaries that we've given them. And we're not particularly good at selling. We're not a very good selling club. So we need to bring people in that are actually, that fit the bill, that fit the description, that are good enough.
Yeah, and to an extent, you know, Ineos trying to be more sensible than Ed Woodward, that is a good thing. And we have seen some of the summer signings, you know, working out, Cunha and Bumo, Šeško, Senny Lomans, etc. But it's still not sensible to be understocked going into the Champions League. And you can understand why not just the signings, but other things that are going on at the club regarding tickets, regarding seats, etc. You can understand why the fans are getting frustrated. And, you know, if there is an injury crisis come October, then we are going to be in trouble. But I agree with you, Ryan, that you don't want to be just panicking and buying players that we've then got on the books for 5 years and they've got to go on loan to 5 different places and we still can't get rid of them. Basically, I'm saying Jadon Sancho as an example. Anyway, we have obviously got a Premier League game on the horizon, Hull away, and Ipswich at home with the first 2 games. So on paper, should be 6 points, should be nice and easy. But, you know, how are we expecting the Hull game to go, Ryan? What are you expecting? Who are you expecting to start? How important is it to hit the ground running? We need 3 points.
Yes, and I think we will get 3 points. I think we will hit the ground running. Typically, you don't want a newly promoted side as your first game, I would say, because you don't. They're up for it. This is their first game. However,
and it's away as well.
As Crookie kind of alluded to there, they're finding their new identity with the amount of players that they're trying to bring in, etc. So I don't think Hull know what they are yet either. So actually, I'm going to go the other way and say it might be a good time to play them and show them what the Premier League is in that first game. So the Ipswich one will be interesting. We've got home advantage as well, but that'll be more like it. That'll be more like, oof, this could be a tough game. We could be in for it here. But that first game, I expect us. Weirdly enough, I would usually say it'd be tough. I think we come away with them. We might pat them on the head a little bit and a little 2-0 or something like that. So that's what I'm going to go for.
Flex, what are you saying? Go on, allow yourself to get a little bit excited. I mean, you know, Šeško may be out. It could be Cunha and Bumo Ahmad up front. Could Aiden Heaven get a look in? He's been doing well in pre-season. But, you know, the band's back together. First game,
they're back together. But it's Ryan's looked at it with the optimism of, but they're trying to find their feet. So, you know, you can just pat them on head a little bit, which absolutely can happen. But it can also go the other way. You remember a few seasons back when Brentford came in first Friday night against Arsenal. Absolutely roughed them. Arsenal didn't know what hit them. Thomas Frank had the last laugh there, and Ivan Toney and people like Mbeumo, I think, at the time. I think we'll get it done. I don't think it's going to be easy. I remember Liverpool a couple of years back facing Ipswich when they first came up, and Ipswich were incredible in the first half. Really put it on them. But like Ryan said, in the second half, the quality started to show. So hopefully, they might have a fast start and then we start to calm things down. or hopefully they get a rude awakening into the Premier League. I'm going to go over Man United win. It's cautious, but it's going to be a 2-1, guys. It's going to be a 2-1.
I can see a 2-1 as well, actually.
Okay,
I can see that. I get
I
it.
could see a
Maybe
2-0.
even a 1-0.
I could see a 2-1 as well. But
I don't think we'll beat them easy.
I mean, as much as we've been talking about things that are a bit more of a negative look at our frustrations regarding the transfer window, I always say you can't read too much into pre-season, but I'm just thinking, Hull away, there is no other option but 3 points.
Yeah.
And
we have to. We have to get 6 points in the first 2 games. We must.
Yeah, we have to.
We must.
100%. I think Cunha's going to be up for it. He had a good summer. Ahmad and Mbeumo didn't really end the season that well. I think, obviously, being away at AFCON, they're going to want to look to impress. We've got the new signings. Flex, you love Tielemans. Who knows? He could be starting.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting, won't it?
I think he will. Yeah, absolutely. Tielemans is in there.
There are positives. So you know what? I'm going to go straight in, and maybe do I give my most delusional prediction as the first game of the season, because then I can fall back on, it was first game of the season against a promoted team. So I'm going like a 3-0 here. I think
yes.
Straight in, mean business, 12:30 kickoff on the Saturday, live on talkSPORT. What more can you ask for? I think that this could be, it could be a continuation of last season. Why not? And I understand that I may sound delusional, but I think this is my one option, my one chance to do this. So, yeah, we're all going for wins, though, which is the good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah,
That
brilliant.
is exactly what we need. W's in the chat.
Fantastic. And maybe, who knows, there could be another signing if we all keep our fingers crossed. But you have been listening and watching Inside Devils. Big thanks to Alex Crook for making a bit of an appearance. Maybe we'll see him again. Who knows? As always, thank you to Ryan being in the studio. Got the furthest to travel as well.
I know.
And he's in the studio. And of course, Flex will let you off for being down the line. But don't worry. We will all be back together, I'm sure, in the room at some point for the next episode of Inside Devils, and hopefully celebrating a 3-0 win against Hull.